everyone here is like a producer and or songwriter?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So everyone's a producer here.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
This is a
I don't know all you guys, but I'm follow y'all.
Yeah, it's
likewise.
our first producer edition. Definitely, you guys, if you guys haven't connected, you guys all definitely need to connect because you guys are all beasts in what you do. So we'll definitely connect everyone after the show.
Here's a quick question for all the geeks in here. What DAWs are you guys using? What's exciting?
We'll get into all that.
Oh,
Tony's gonna start off with a little intro and then we'll dive in.
Yeah.
Okay, look at Donut over here trying to like do roll call.
Hold shit up.
you know me, I'm
Roll call.
All right, we're all here.
All right. So, all right. Hey, everyone. My name is Tony, and we want to thank you all for joining us and being part of the 7th episode of our Jam Compass webinar called The Link. We took a few weeks off, but it's good to be back with such an awesome panel of talented producers. We want to say hi to everyone that's joining us as well and the attendees. I'm one of the co-founders of Jam Compass, which is a mobile app that will be in beta within the next couple months. And it will allow creatives and industry professionals the ability to connect and collaborate and find opportunities in real time. And while we're in the final stages of development, we wanted to start bringing the community together to discuss where things are headed within the industry. So on today's episode, we'll be hearing from our panel of producers and how things have changed within the industry during the pandemic and what they've been working on. Before we get to it, for all the viewers, you can introduce yourself in the chat section. And if you have any questions for the panelists, leave them in the Q&A and we'll get to them at the end. For all the producers that are watching and tuning in, we're doing a giveaway today for Captain Plugin Production Software Bundle, courtesy of our friends at SAP. And the Captain Plugin Bundle is a really awesome writing and production tool for coming up with chords, progressions, hooks, melodies, and bass lines. I've messed around with it a little bit, and it's really great for starting ideas and just getting creative. So to enter the contest, all you have to do is share a picture of the webinar in your story and tag Jam Compass for a chance to win, and we'll select the winner at the end. Now I'm going to pass it to Anthony, my partner in Jam Compass.
What's up, guys? Yeah, I want to just thank everybody for being a part of this. We all know how busy you guys' schedules are, even during the quarantine and everything. So really appreciate you guys coming on board. I'm gonna go around each panelist, introduce yourselves, talk about what you've been working on. We'll be answering some questions from the chat, and then also just it's just a cool conversation with all like-minded people here. So Clint, let's start with you, bro. How are you, man?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for being on here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So how have you been doing during the quarantine? What have you been up to? What you've been working on? I know you've been working with Phase, doing a lot of cool stuff, a lot of different avenues. So just
yeah, I mean, I'm one of the fortunate ones that my life wasn't really affected because one, I work from home, and two, a lot of the things I have going on have to do with technology. Phase being one of them. So we've actually thrived because we live on the internet. So from my technology company, so I wrote a new book that comes out next month, How to Win Big in the Music Business, forward written by Damon John from Shark Tank. So that comes out, it was actually supposed to come out 2 months ago, but then COVID happened and manufacturers got shut down, and then other stuff happened that's way more important than me talking about my book. So focused on going out and standing up for injustice instead of saying, hey, get my book, guys. So I've been doing that, and I launched the first national radio station, hip-hop radio station that allows artists to like literally upload their music straight from the studio, straight from wherever they are on their phone, and get it into rotation next to Drake, Migos, Little Baby, whoever, getfamiliarradio.com. So that's up and running now, but I won't really start going hard with promoting it and running ads until next month. The book and course comes out. So just been doing a bunch of that stuff, and then sending out music to A&Rs, focusing on building out my empire. I also have a women's athleisure line. So just a lot of businesses going on. And then, obviously, like how big FaZe Clan is. It's the world's largest esports lifestyle gaming brand in the world. So I run business development there. So I'm constantly dealing with the artists that I brought in, from Offset to Sway Lee to Pitbull to Yo Gotti and all those guys. So yeah, just that's what I've been doing.
Hell yeah, man. That's great.
Right.
And drinking a lot of tea.
Yeah.
There we go.
I love Dave though. I play Call of Duty all the fuck.
Oh man, right here, man.
Period.
Season 4.
So
Going hard.
Just got my first headset yesterday, boys.
So,
Yeah, a lot of,
by the way, doing all these things and being involved with esports and music, it's a cool intersection because I'm able to sit and talk with Facebook and Twitch and the things that they want to get involved in, the problems with licensing and getting their music flagged, and working with a lot of producers to try to help alleviate that problem, and forming kind of a big committee, a crew of producers that are willing to build catalogs of beats and allow them to use it gratis. But there's things I'm working on where the producer benefits tremendously as well. So working on a bunch of those things to help. I've always been a guy who just wants to help other people win, man. That's why I wrote a book called How to Win Big in the Music Business.
yeah, I'm really
fire.
excited
That's
about the
fire.
book, man. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'll definitely pick one up, dude. That's awesome. I love the hustle.
I just love that it's up there in your background. Like right there is amazing to me. Like
That it's in the background.
yeah, that book is like positioned perfectly. Like
I got to make sure you get familiar, man.
that's dope.
Willie, let's
Yeah,
move over to you, bro. How have you been? How you been? I mean, besides playing Call of Duty, I've been seeing you on there, but
Man,
I'm
I'm a creature of habit, so I'm going to take beats. I'm going to play Call of Duty. Like this quarantine thing
Yeah,
is
facts.
very convenient because I've always lived the life of like I'm in the crib. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
not much has changed. Obviously, social consumption has increased, and with that, I'm seeing all the issues in the world, and I feel like have a call to action to do something else. So that's what I've been doing. I hit a creativity thing for like the first 3 months where I was just doing like 10 beats a day, like boom, 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 boom. So I'm sitting on a whole bunch of music, but I'm at a crossroads because I think I feel like I just doing music with purpose now. Like I don't know if y'all got that same vibe, but it's like the old beats that I was doing that could have been in the trap or in the club, or I'm like, nah, I'm off that. Like I'm really doing some like love, humanity type music right now. So I'm in a good space, really good. As far as sending out records, I feel like I've collaborated with more artists through quarantine than I have in my whole entire life, via Zoom, via phone calls, via text. And I think that's really cool, having that direct connect. I went over to Pulse, so Ashley Calhoun over there, Shannon, really big on the team, my attorney, and just kind of hitting everything. Like Clint said, hit the A&Rs, here you go. Hit the artist directly, here you go. So it's good. It's good.
That's one of the positives that's definitely coming out here. I think there's a major shift in the sound right now too, based on what's going on with the world. So
yeah, the sound is going to shift. It's shifted. It's current. Like if you're anything that's remotely different than authentic, I don't see you winning.
yeah.
So
How do you
Facts.
quantify an authentic beat?
I think authenticity is just a marriage between the song and the track. So like the track authentically could be whatever you feel, if it has a feeling to it. But I think the message of the music, I think, is what's changing. Like, I remember when COVID first hit, I was like looking around in the crib and I was like, yeah, I can get I'm liquid, but like, let's say all the shit I bought like has really no value in it. Like if you really think about it, I was like, yo, I got all this Louis shit, all this other shit. I'm like, this shit really is worthless. So I think my priorities like evolved and switched to some more like, I guess like sustainability, more like earth friendly shit, stuff like that,
Message. Yeah.
Definitely.
My whole perspective changed. How about that? So
Yeah.
Hi there. How you doing?
What's up, Aunt?
Thanks for being on today.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, how have you been holding up? I know, you've had such great success in all genres of music, from pop to electronic, and you're so versatile in what you do, and as a songwriter, but also now as a producer, which has been awesome to see that transition for you too. So how's everything been? What you been up to?
It's been a good time and a bad time. I haven't been touring, so that was a pretty hard hit financially, but also mentally, because I kind of I don't know, I stay sane on the stage and like touring and getting that energy out. But producing has been great. I've been doing it every day. I decided to mix my album, which has taught me a lot more as a producer as well. So I'm a songwriter first, but I've been producing now for like 4 years. I do everything from like, I guess, urban pop stuff to straight pop to all different types of genres of dance. So, you know,
Are we
just
still saying urban? Are we still saying urban?
I mean, it's pop now.
Right.
I mean, I feel like music is just music, but that's just me.
You know, that urban topic, we should come back to it.
Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was being facetious about that.
We'll come back. We'll come back to
Calm down. Let's discuss it. What are we going to call it?
that.
I don't think
It's just called music. It's just music.
I think that's what it's called. It's called music. It's very interesting. I was talking to someone about that, and I know a high-level executive, and that high-level executive is looked down upon because he's an urban president versus just a president.
Yeah.
So, and he's not black either. He's white. So his money is affected by the urban, the actual quote unquote urban. And he's like also restricted in certain avenues. I'm not gonna put him out there, but it's definitely a challenge because it's like it's saying that it's not this thing, it's this thing, and it's like, oh, okay.
Well, how do you define the genre then? You know, because
The genre was defined as hip hop before it was called urban. Urban's something, you know. So if it's hip hop, it's hip hop. I feel like R&B, rhythm and blues, because they didn't have a genre for like black rhythm and blues artists in music. They created R&B.
Would you say that hip hop, if there's a vocal that sang all the way through, there's no rapping on it at all, to you, is that hip hop?
It's very interesting. That's a trick question because I feel like when Drake came into the play, he made genres merge together, you know, like, so I don't really know, but I just know that if I do if The Weeknd does a record, The Weeknd should be a pop artist. He shouldn't be an urban artist. Just
Absolutely.
Well, the sound is pop. If you listen to Weeknd's whole album, the new one I love, it's awesome, but it is pop. It's a 80s influence.
But they put him as an R&B or an urban artist.
Because I think the record industry, if you're a black or black people listen to it, then it's thrown into urban.
Thrown into the urban thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, me personally, I don't know what the word is going to replace.
Okay. So then I have a real good argument. So is Rihanna urban pop artist?
Exactly. Rihanna's just a pop artist, man.
I'd stay straight.
Rihanna's always been pop.
Yeah. I mean, she's a
You see what I'm saying? And Rihanna's black. So let's just be real.
I feel like Rihanna broke through in a different way, though.
I mean,
that's the only point that I make. That I don't feel like it's like no. I feel like when I think of pop, I think of Britney Spears. I think of Dr. Lou. Like when I think of pop, you know what I mean? Like Max Martin. When I think of pop, you know what I'm saying? Just being honest.
Absolutely.
But pop is popular.
Yeah.
So anything can be pop.
Anything can be popular, right?
Exactly.
I'll give you
Kendrick Lamar can be popular. J. Cole can be popular. Katy Perry can be popular. But it's just messed up that pop is the actual genre of sound.
Yeah, I don't think pop is truly a genre. It's just a word that categorizes mainstream.
Well, it's all, and all the genres.
And what is mainstream?
Mainstream is whatever is being widely consumed.
I'm mainly a rock guy from Canada, and in the '90s, I was signed by Sylvia Rhone to Elektra as a rapper.
Sylvia Rhone, wow!
I take rock records.
By urban artists, right?
Brian, tell us some of the accolades you've had and some of the artists you've worked with. I know you have such an extensive list in the rock world.
I cross genres because I came from like a Public Enemy, all that kind of stuff influenced me. Beastie Boys, Run DMC, but I also liked Def Leppard and AC/DC. I was like so conflicted, so that's why I became a producer, because as an artist, I'd make like a kind of a alt hip hop record or something like that, and then I would like, I want to make a rock record now, and I love pop music. I just kind of like every just like you said, music. It's just music. I like great songs with great singers and music like that. So, I've worked with everyone from like Nickelback to and then Big John at EMI got me in with Beyonce. I did a track with Beyonce, never made the record, but it was really fun. She wanted to do like an Alanis thing. So I just love great songs, man. And that's why I never made a great artist, because I'd make a record and be bored of that genre. I'm like, I want to do a country thing now. So that's why I switched over to being a producer. And, but it's funny. Sylvia Rhone signed me to Elektra Records as a rapper or singer. Back in,
what was your name?
Band was called DDT. Lars Ulrich started a label through Elektra, and we were the first signing, and we were like 311, Beastie Boys.
Right.
Wow, 311.
Toured with
Wow.
Wow. It was pretty sick. So I'm a huge Chuck D. Like I love 90s.
You guys were named after a wrestling move.
Exactly, right? But even now, like I just finished the Simple Plan record, but I also working with Josiah. I don't know if maybe you guys have worked with him. He's a new hip hop artist signed to Atlantic.
He's crazy.
And it's funny, like he's very hip hop, but his favorite band in the whole world is Linkin Park. So they don't know what to do with him. So they stuck me with him because I'm kind of like can relate to him. You know what I mean?
I actually think that this may be a topic that we talk about at some point. By the way, do you want to finish going around the circle to talk to everybody first?
Yeah, I mean, chime in though. We'll get I'll definitely get everyone some love, but yeah, definitely chime in, Clinton. It's all good. It's a group discussion.
I want everyone to get their shine, man. I'm thinking like, 'cause, as producers and stuff, we always have to be mindful of like what's next, right? Because here's a difference from like a new jack producer and a seasoned producer is when something comes out and wins. A real producer is thinking, okay, we did this already. Now where are we going from here? A lower producer that's trying to get on is more like, I'm trying to sound like what's happening right now. Exactly. So they're chasing what's already worked. Meanwhile, real producers and artists are trying to evolve past what already worked, right?
That's it.
So that's why you'll see producers come with records like, man, this would be perfect for Rihanna. Yeah, on her last album, bro. Like, a real good producer would figure out how to make Rihanna see something that she should be doing something different, right?
Yep.
So the point of me saying that is that I think we're going to inevitably, if you take everything that's going on in the world and then you mix that with the influence of like 90s rock and grunge, where you're hearing like a little Nas take a line, a little, like they'll take a melody or a line. So somebody in there as a producer is telling these kids, oh, you should say, because that's a melody we all know being old, like from like a Nirvana, right? Or a 311 line, right? Or something, right? And they're like, oh, let's just take that. And then the people that know, and they're like, oh, that's dope. And the people that don't know think it's dope because it already was dope, right? So I think that where we're going now, where we're going to end up going, what I predict and where I think we should be going is back to when even you were saying like Linkin Park and 311. Like I think a lot of people from Post Malone, a lot of people are like incorporating guitars a lot more and using rock into their songs. That like, look at, I'll tell you, guys, I found a black Blink-182, right? And when I seen them on the beach playing one day for a bunch of like old white people for some charity campaign, I was like, who are you guys? Right? And they didn't have no deal, no nothing. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And their dad was there with them. He's like, man, we just moved out here with a dream. I was like, holy shit. If you found a black Blink-182, but they listen to Travis Scott and they play the guitar,
that's going to be sick.
Out of here.
That's the next wave.
I'm all about the melting pot too. Like that's such a good point. And I learned a lot because I had a label deal with Jimmy Iovine a while ago, and he taught me about mixing different ingredients together. And he loved doing that kind of stuff, like taking this artist from this background, this artist, and putting it into a pot, stirring it up, adding a sprinkling of this. That's the best part of what we do, is when you kind of nail something and you're like, oh, we're onto something. That's such a good feeling.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more, guys. Like I've been saying the same thing. Like the rock and the hip hop, it's kind of all blending together, and like that's definitely with the times, definitely going to be a wave.
Well. Let me add to this. I mean, this is just me personally speaking. I feel like we've always kind of been in a melting pot society. You know what I'm saying? I feel like all great music is just a recapture of the past, the present, and the future. That's just me personally speaking. I feel like fusion music now more than ever has been more prevalent. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have been combining, you know, rock with urban, so-called urban or hip hop. You know, you have people like Puffy working with Fishbone and Slash doing remixes, and you know what I'm saying? You had people like, you know, a lot of very famous rock bands working with a lot of very famous hip hop acts. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't think that fusion will ever stop happening. You know, fusion, just to be clear, is just taking multifaceted different sounds and combining them and to create something that's going to essentially be your own anyway. And I think music in its originality has always been multifaceted in that way. So, you know, when people get bored of playing with one sound, they're going to naturally start combining sounds. You know, that's playing with music. That's why I say, you know, as far as pop or any genre, I always feel like at the end of the day, it has to be music, because music is what sums it all up at the end of the day. You know, like Willie Donut may take a Beatles record and mix it with Dr. Dre, and I may take a Mike Will Made It record and mix that with Prince. You know what I'm saying?
But even back in the 80s, when you would have on the radio, it wasn't segmented. It would be Duran Duran right next to Michael Jackson, next to Culture Club, next to Prince,
right.
And
you're absolutely right. And you're absolutely right. But who were those people influenced by? Michael Jackson was just a depiction of him. There was still fusion. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, no matter what, all the real musician heads are gonna understand that, you know, when you're influenced by all of these people, like my influences are it's a plethora of them. You know, from Dr. Dre to Jay Dilla to Prince to Michael Jackson. My father was Michael Jackson's producers, one of them. You know what I'm saying? So growing up in that atmosphere and my mother singing for Stevie Wonder, how could I not come up with a multifaceted sound that works for everybody? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's just, I feel like we're all inspired by what we hear and what we like, and we end up creating that, and that is all fusion. You know what I'm saying? It's just, what is your starting point? If you started off with hip hop, okay, cool. You may be more hip hop drum heavy. You may be a boom bapper. But then if you started off playing guitar like a Post Malone and came out of a rock and roll scenario, then of course you're gonna add more of what's so-called urban to your, you know, your atmosphere of music. You know what I'm saying? That's just my personal opinion.
I have to say something, and it's really cool because I'm looking at everything, and I look at numbers. I'm a numbers guy, so like to get to 10, it could be like 7 plus 3, it could be 5 plus 5, 6 plus 4, whatever it takes you to get to 10. But I'm gonna give you like a couple things that I really, really am inspired by, and it's people who have my voice. And I think that's what everyone's trying to do, find the person or the community that hears their voice. So I'll give you an example. I don't really listen to music. I don't pull from the past. I just create music, which is why every record I've ever produced sounds like nothing that's ever existed. And I'll give you an example of it because people will tell you everything's been done. Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. I've never heard a beat like Jetson made for the Baby before that beat was created. Like I've never heard no one do that drum pattern, use those drums, use that. This never existed. One thing, you guys agree, but I've never heard that thing. It's the same when I heard Timberland. I was like, yo, I'd never heard someone drum like that. And then when I looked at Pharrell, I was like, okay, they're using the same drums for every genre of music. So I say that's to say, find your audience, do what the fuck you want to do. Whether you fuse shit, whether you do this, I wouldn't fuse things because I'm just not going to do that. I actually have so many questions about that because I'll hear a song where someone legitimately took the entire melody for the lyric of an old song, and I don't see that old song credited on the thing. I'm like, did they just put the shit out and not clear it? Like, I'm trying to figure it out.
Crazy.
So I would say, man, just do music. I think the common denominator for all the shit is feeling. How do you feel? When you made that record, did it feel good? I think when Clinton's talking, he's talking about all these other songs, all these other genres where music felt good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the only common denominator I see through all that, in my opinion.
For sure. All right, let's move over to TK. What's up, bro?
TK.
How you living, my guy? What's good?
What's going on, man? I know you've been grinding, dude. You've been working with a lot of major people over the years. What you been up to? How you been?
Man, just staying busy, diversifying my bag as much as possible, working on as many different projects across different genres and everything. Yeah, just working with some dope artists, getting a bunch of beats made. When COVID first hit, I feel like lots of people just snapped into go mode, like just like going as hard as they could, just getting stuff done, making loops. Like, bro, I did not realize everyone is a sample producer. Like the first month of COVID, I got like 700 fucking sample packs from all the homies, and I'm just like, I didn't even know it was like that. So I think it really like lit a fire under a lot of people's asses. Really made it be like, yo, no more bullshitting in studio sessions, no more like all the cap just faded. It's like you just got to work and get stuff done. So yeah, I've just been locking down, knocking stuff out. I just finished scoring a doc for Netflix, so working on like scoring stuff more and more here in the studio with a bunch of different people, working with I don't know, the Kid Leroy, Marky Basie, this cat Sky, fucking Bino Rideau, just like staying busy, just getting stuff done, really getting into the Zoom session stuff. Honestly, I was to tap on what somebody else was, I think it was Donut that said it earlier, like I've been super productive and getting into Zoom sessions and stuff. I'm really seeing you can get so much done without having people in the room, whereas pre-pandemic, I was definitely like, let's sit down, let's vibe off of each other's energy, let's create fresh and get something that's like custom tailored to the energy that we're creating in the room. And yeah, it's good to pivot and still create that energy, harness that same excitement, that same energy from a Zoom session and still get great results. So yeah, man, just been hustling, been busy, just diversifying the bag as much as possible, working on a lot of different projects across all different genres and different mediums, bro.
Yeah,
Awesome, man.
That's one thing I noticed too, because I've been my studio's in LA, but I've been stuck in Canada and I can't get over the border. And all I have is an acoustic guitar here, so I just been going old school. Like I haven't done that in years. Like I always write to beats, and it's weird. Like I'm picking up an acoustic again and writing and doing Zoom writes, and I got a couple cuts of it. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. It's so easy.
100%.
So I'm actually, I just got to figure out how am I going to fit? I can't shut the border down. I literally can't get over the border.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're unable to get in still right now?
Yeah, it's essential workers only.
I had a friend of mine from Canada just flew in last week.
What?
Yeah, she's still out here.
Did she lie?
No comment.
You know what? If you could pick her brain for me and tell me what she said, then I'll try the same thing. But yeah,
I got you.
Damn, man, I need to get down there. The studio's getting, it's getting dusty.
Getting dusty.
What
the acoustic, man, old school.
What I just want to go through everyone real fast. Like any go-to plugins you guys have been using? Any new software you guys have been into really quickly throughout the pandemic?
I've been downloading so much new stuff. Instagram ads have been targeting me. I feel very attacked in the best way possible. And I want to tap on that real quick too, bro. Like ever since this pandemic hit, it's been like social media cleared out. A lot of the bullshit. I think it was Donut that said it earlier. Like lots of the Louis bags, the nice shit, the turn up, the whatever, all of the material shit that has nothing to do with what we fucking do, that we obsess about and that we care so much about.
It doesn't matter.
bro, does not matter. Absolutely not. Yeah, I think it's great that things have kind of like chilled in that space, and because of that, yo, like I'm finally like seeing all my homies post on Instagram again. I'm getting targeted ads for shit that I actually care about, new plugins, new different things here and there. But to tap in on what you were saying, I copped this plugin, The Sauce by DJ Swivel. I've been fucking with that on a lot of tracks. Really dope.
That's crazy.
Bro, I love that shit. It's like Little Alter Boy. Bro, it's like Little Alter Boy mixed with, it's like a bunch of great plugins mixed into one.
Damn it, I'm buying that right now.
Bro, cop it.
Little Sauce. I gotta get that. I'm gonna write that down.
The Sauce by DJ
Alter
Swivel.
Boy's sick.
I mean, I've been seeing like on my timeline, like 10 people I really respect.
I'm seeing that a lot.
That shit.
The Sauce is crazy. It has, honestly, I think it does better with the formant shifting and pitching than Little Alter Boy does.
Really?
And it's super. Yeah.
Really?
Little Alter Boy gives you like, yeah, Little Alter Boy gives you weird like audio distortion sometimes, depending upon if you're putting it on an instrument or a vocal. I pretty much never have that issue with the Sauce. It has a really great flanger and phaser. I really like, you can set to a multi-band EQ, so you can set effects parameters on, 50 hertz to 100 hertz. I only want this going through here, and then take everything off the low end, and it's really dope. I've been really getting into that one a lot. And Arturia just put out a really fire Obi-Wan emulator that's fucking amazing. It's really, really fire. So those are two that I've been fucking with heavy.
I've been really picking apart this new plugin that was recommended to me through Aftermath. It's called Kickstarter.
Oh,
I'm not sure if too many people are familiar with that. Maybe everybody is, but I come from the Reason world, so Reason just really made themselves accessible for communicating with the rest of the world. In the DAW world, if you use Fruity Loops or you use Ableton, we're able to actually communicate with you guys now finally. But Kickstarter's been really interesting for me because I'm a fan of using plugins for the main reason they weren't meant for. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'll take a compressor and use that just to boost the frequency and want to compress it. I'll use a whole separate, I can really gate things in a whole different way. You know what I'm saying? Make space for things after I've already made space for it, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So, that's been really the primary thing I've been really trying to pick apart is been that plugin, you know what I'm saying, primarily.
I've been using Metric AB a lot. I don't know if you guys know about that one. It's from Plugin Alliance because I've been doing like a lot of mixing, mastering stuff. It's one of the most advanced reference plugins I've ever worked with. So you can put in up to 10 tracks into the plugin and compare everything from stereo fields to it's just the options are endless on the plugin, and it's really been helpful for me, especially as a DJ too, because sometimes I'll go into a show and I'll drop my record and the low end won't be hitting the way that I need it to, but with the Metric AB, when I'm comparing it to tracks that I might mix in side by side, then I can really see. I can use my eyes instead of only my ears. I also don't have a sub in my studio, so it's been really helpful for me.
That's awesome.
That sounds great.
They make a sub pack that you might want to buy for your sub.
No way.
Yeah, if you're in the house, you can put it on your chair or in your back, and you can feel it. You basically
I think it was advertised to me about a week ago. It goes over your
yeah, make one version of that one.
Oh, you wear it?
It's one that you can put behind your chair too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's cool because you can basically set the level for the song that you know, and then that's your level.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Just in case, like me, I bought a pair of Barefoot MM26s, so like I hear the 808.
You're good, yeah.
My man said I just,
You know,
Got some barefoots, real casual. Real casual.
Yes.
I don't need no sub pack. I'm good with these barefoots.
You know what?
But
If Phonix knows me. I'm the guy that buys every single software that's ever made, and I'm the guy that's also returning that shit back. So I've been through every set of speakers you can go through. I've been through every plugin. The new plugins that I'm excited about, UVI makes a thing called Falcon. And Falcon, if anyone's familiar with the ASR 10, Falcon basically has that algorithm where you can put any sample and play more than like 3 octaves in any direction, and there won't be any artifacts. So like you're putting that in Contact, and when you're putting it in Ableton, when you're putting it in all these like, sampler, like I can do a test, a shootout. You're gonna be like, oh shit, this is crazy. I recently went to Catalina, so I had to go through all the plugins to get shit to work only on Catalina. So the things that are very, very like on the money, the Mellotron from Arteria, the fucking flutes in that bitch are fire as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know if anyone's heard of Sublab. I know. I'm giving out the gems, man. It's like, but in Sublab, you can put your own sample 808 in there and just go crazy. I've been on Arcade,
Arcade, man.
Crazy, just putting in the keys and that thing. And
I have no complaints about Arcade.
Arcade is so fire for the little touches.
At all. Arcade is like such the cheat code. Like if you're not getting a bag just using Arcade, like
it's cheat code. And then
you just need to be a janitor or something.
And then lastly, on the mixing side, I've switched over to Plugin Alliance heavy. Like UAD, I've been with them for about 5 years. No disrespect, they're super cool, but I'm trying to get to the point where I can just pick my laptop up, hit the street, and everything's on there without me having to plug in anything other than the fucking highlight.
So are you saying these plugins as far as like your master mixing plugins or your mixing plugins?
So
just in general,
I did a shootout. I went and bought SSL, the G and the E series from Plugin Alliance. And I was like, let me make a template for my FL Studio and let me make a template for Ableton where there's an SSL on every channel. And then I made the beats and I was just like, doing what I got to do. I bounced out like a drum loop with no SSL on it, and then a one with it. And dynamically, what you were talking about as far as creating space and all that shit, like it just opened up. So like now I'm an advocate of every channel has to have a fucking SSL on it. Like
so my question to you, Donut, did you do like an A and B comparison between the G and the E, or did you just kind of just know what you were looking for and compare that to without having?
So I went to like the research of what the G was and the E was and what they're trying to replicate, and it seemed to me that the G is warmer than the E. So
I mean, I wasn't gonna really be biased like that because everybody has different ears, but it's there would just never be another G SSL, like never. Like I'm gonna be real, bro. Like that's Dre's favorite SSL is the G model. You know what I'm saying? Like to this day, like he has one in his house, he has one in his studio. Every person I work with, Manny Mariquan, Jason Joshua, everybody has the G series. It's just
they're amazing. I actually had one, and when I moved down to LA, I had to sell it. I sold it to Elizondo actually.
Mike Elizondo, I mean, it's a hell of a fucking light bill. Excuse my
I was so bummed selling it, but I couldn't power supply in my house.
How much was the
I mean, did you have the whole actual 100 tracks, or did you have half of it?
No, I had half of it, but it was the G with the E, exact, with the centerpiece. And I loved it, but I made my move. I couldn't.
I was about to say, you got a hell of a house to have 100 tracks, sir.
No, dude.
Big boards.
I wish.
Yo, if you guys like the Plugin Alliance SSL G, you should try the actual SSL one.
From SSL.
Yeah, it's incredible, and the interface is super easy to use. I use it on my master.
Oh, shit.
So what I did, yeah, and they have a subscription service that's $9.99 for their whole bundle.
Wow.
It's like $9.99 a month. So you could even just try it, you know, A/B it with the Plugin Alliance one. But I've been using the actual SSL native, and that one is kicking ass.
Okay, well, I'll be all the way transparent because this has nothing to do with my affiliations with the company, but Reason Propellerhead actually made a digital version of the G board. It's completely digitized, so you can literally do a full SSL mix within Reason. It comes with the program. It has the actual master bus compressor, and for all it's really where the swag is at. We all know that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, to me, that's what just has given me the upper edge. Now, I'm still using out-the-box plugins like, you know, the Waves, and, you know, I have the Diamond bundle, I have the Mercury bundle, and all that stuff. And that stuff is cool. I love my L3, my L2, but I can actually use that on top of having a digitized SSL mix, which is, for me, has changed my dynamics of my mixing, just clearly, because I'm a big fan of Phonix outside of creating amazing record, you know.
Hey, Phonix, thank you for sharing your tips and being transparent about the plugins you use. Can you also tell us what kind of Wi-Fi you use so we know?
Oh,
It's like dial-up.
Yo, shots fired.
Damn, crowd's fired. Oh, okay. Put a beat on.
Yo,
Put a beat
I'm
on.
over here white clawing it out. That was hilarious. Exactly.
Done, bro.
You got the dial-up going.
So here's a question.
I'm gonna make sure I let them know that.
Have you guys ever heard any gems that apply crazy in your musical journey? Like, I'll give you an example. There was this guy named Dennis Herring. I remember he did like some old rock shit.
Oh yeah, he
You know
does
Dennis?
Punkins. I know Dennis.
So me and Dennis used to hang out. Dennis is cool as shit.
Yeah.
Dennis was like, I'm gonna drop a full ass gem on people. He was like, hey Donut, man. He was like, this beat is like a train. He's like, and you can switch to any type of train you want. You can do like electric train, you can do a coal train, you can do whatever, but you can't change a train to a fucking car. So he was legitimately, he said this thing and it like resonated with my whole entire life. So I've never been the guy to make a beat that goes from this thing, from like pop to like salsa. Like I've never just switched the beat out 100% completely because of that one thing.
Right.
You know, so like you were telling me, you were saying earlier about, I think Big John, EMI, you were saying something and I was like, damn. Or no, Jimmy Iovine.
Yeah. Mixing
So like,
ingredients together.
What's that gym? Like, it's like certain things that are sciences that actually work.
Right. Well, and it's always an experiment process too, right? Like just like trying, some things just don't work. Most of the time it doesn't work, but then when you stumble on that one thing, you're like, oh wow, this is interesting. This is fresh. I've never heard it. And I think Clinton, you were talking about the whole chasing thing. That's the worst thing anyone can do.
Super worst thing.
Yeah, if you're chasing something now, by the time it actually gets released, it's so gone. You know what I mean?
Period.
Even if it gets signed,
Who
you know.
did your artwork, Clinton? Like, you've always had some dope ass artwork, bro.
Thank you. But another thing to what he just said was you'll hear producers be like, ah, man, they used the same sample I made. Or, yo, they must have heard my beat and they ripped my shit up. No, if you just made original shit, you wouldn't have to worry about that.
Right, facts.
Stop taking those same loops that every other kid in his bedroom's using and be a dope-ass producer and create some dope shit that nobody
I agree
can
with
do.
that 100%. That's my pet peeve is like everyone just taking stuff
Well,
off slice. And I'm
well,
like, oh,
not everybody understands that mindset either. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody was music to me is like, how were you introduced to it too? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Some people were introduced through sampling and that's all they know. But
True.
But it doesn't mean they don't have the ability to know more, and they don't.
No,
you're
absolutely right.
They're
You're
not smart enough
absolutely
to realize,
right.
yo, why am I using the same shit everybody else is using?
Right. No,
Phonix, tell us about the bird.
That's where these producers need people like us to really kind of guide them too. You know what I'm saying? Because like I'm sure a lot of us kind of just came up in our own.
He's got a plug-in. He's got some kind of pitch plug-in going.
You need a plug-in for your phone.
We can't.
Yo, Clinton.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but honestly though, like one of the dopest samples, I could say is when Phonix flipped those sounds in the J. Cole record and No Role Model. Like that shit was crazy to me the way you flipped that. So that shit was dope. But Clinton,
I want to say something on that too.
Oh, go ahead.
For me as a producer, when I first started producing, I used a lot of samples because that sped up my process of learning. And then now, 4 years later, it's very rare that I would use a sample. And even if I do, I'm usually chopping it up and turning it into something you would never recognize anyway. But to get to this point, I had to start somewhere.
Right. So you're misunderstanding what I meant by it. I didn't mean don't use samples because, first of all, I came up in hip hop. All we did was fucking sample. Mm-hmm. But we went and found original samples and chopped them up and used them differently creatively than just some kit where someone just, how many producers do we all know or run into that are just straight jacking a loop, adding some drums on it, like, yo, this shit's fire. It's like, bro, what is it?
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? Well, it's good when you're just learning to try to figure out how to use the software, taking a sample, learning how to manipulate it, learning how to do all that stuff. That's totally fine. But not to then go take loops that you just got out of a pack and shop them like you're some genius producer that put this shit together.
I'm going to do it.
That's what made Dre such a genius, though. Dre was
not only am I going to do that, I'm going to do it 100% of the times. And the crazy funny thing about it is somebody came up to me and was like, yo, dude, I used to be anti-sample anything. And dude was like, Kanye's a millionaire off the samples, dog. Like, straight like that. Boom, Dr. Dre. Even if it's
big facts.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, sample. So I hear what you're saying, Clinton, and I totally agree with you. Like, it for a person that knows how to produce, it's kind of like an insult in a way. But when I tell you, you got to be first to market.
Do you guys?
Period. That's the most important shit.
Do you guys think I'm saying don't sample?
No, I don't think you're not saying that, but I think you're also discrediting the person that takes an 8-bar loop from Splice and do some heavy drums and gets a placement off of it.
Yeah, when you buy a pack where say someone like me that spent years going through records and finding shit, putting it on that, and you just took that and put a beat on it. To me, yeah, it's dope that you're able to get some shit off and people are gonna buy it. My point wasn't about you should never do that. My point was you should always be trying to innovate and not get mad when somebody else got that you didn't get. I'm all about sampling. Hip hop wouldn't survive. It wouldn't even happen without sampling.
I don't even think it's about sampling. I think that I'm coming to grips to terms that sometimes hit records are made in literally 10 minutes. And that's a concern. I used to get mad. Like, I'd be like, damn, this shit didn't take me long. So why should I? Man, I did a record in 30 minutes that changed my life. You know what I'm saying? And legitimately, I used to be the crate digger. So I was the guy that would go to like Big Fish Audio and all those other different companies, find the gem.
East, West, and all that.
West, the whole thing. Splice came out and then started making it easier for everyone to find those things. But I'm still on the hunt. I'll find things that aren't on Splice that are full companies. And if that song is fucking fire, I'm on it, bro. Like, I don't care. Like, at the end of the day, I realized that feeling is feeling. If that shit made me feel away, then I'm on it.
Well, one of my biggest records, I literally made it in 10 minutes. You know, and it debuted on Billboard at number 7. And
let's you and I get together and make a beat in 15 minutes, bro.
Yeah.
I don't care if you get that.
Hey, at the end of the day, the person consuming it, like the listener, couldn't care less.
Period.
Don't care.
No. Let's rephrase that. The consumer, the average listener doesn't know the damn difference. Let's be real. They don't know. Look, hold on. I've literally sat and tested this theory. I've been in the studio with Jason Joshua, and all these top engineers, and they've spent weeks on one damn record, and my son cannot tell the difference between minus 10 dBs and minus 50 dBs. My son is 13 years old and does not give a damn. He just knows that he likes it, and that's what matters. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100% agree with you.
Yeah. When XXXTentacion came out with the distorted 808s, that changed the game for everybody. Everyone was like, "Oh, we can make shit sound fucked up, and it's still gonna work." So like at that point, it was like, because, and I guarantee you, that was a kid that just didn't know better. He wasn't I don't think he was architecting this new sound that everyone. I think he was just like, "Man, I don't know how to fix this shit. It fucking turns up. Who gives a shit? Let's just put it out."
I think that's the whole thing about music in and of itself. It's like, it's a creative space. It's like a never ending, limitless creative space. And it's all about like following and breaking the rules at the same time. To like use an example, like from like the electronic music, like fucking space, my homie, Mr. Carmack, when he first came out with like his music, he helped influence a whole so much of EDM is like a lot of people that like, it started with like lots of the shit that Carmack was doing. And people were like, damn, his drums and his beats just hit so fucking hard. And he was like, bro, every single one of my songs redlines. He's like, what are you talking about? Everyone wants to know what my sound is. My sound is, I don't fucking follow conventional shit. And all my songs are clipping like a motherfucker. That's why they fucking slap so hard. And he's still you know, and then especially back then, you know, at the early SoundCloud era, he's like, yo, you have this song that was perfectly made, perfectly mixed, perfectly mastered. And then here's my shit. I just threw everything however I wanted. And like that shit, his shit has like, you know, 10, 15, 20 million fucking spins. Whereas the shit that was painstakingly like treated as like the baby and all this stuff, I followed all the right rules. Like, you know, 100%, it's feeling at the end of the day. The consumers don't give a fuck like what we're doing in the studio. Only thing they care about is like how it sounds, how it makes them feel. Yeah.
Well,
people listening to music don't even understand that there's songwriters, like lots of people don't understand that lots of like everyone's favorite artists are not writing all of their songs. You know what I'm saying? So
we got like.
Well, I'll be honest. Like honestly, yes, you're absolutely right on one end, right? But the only people that truly get ticked off by our music and it clipping and being those levels, no matter how much the consumer world loves it, is the damn venue owners. Because guess what? They don't want to keep replacing damn speakers every damn time. Phonix Beats or Willie Donut or you comes in the club and we sold out the whole show, but now they have to replace the entire club every time we come in there. It's 1,000%. So you do have to find some type of medium to be disrespectful, but still slightly be respectful at some point, unless your damn budget is just big enough to say, I don't give a damn. Like if you're Skrillex or you're Steve Aoki, all right, cool. You're pulling in enough money to replace the entire front of the club every damn time you destroy it.
There's something kind of cool about that though, blowing that shit up.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes, guys. We got 5 minutes.
Hey, man, hey. All I gotta say is no one got mad at Shaq when he broke the damn rim, bro. That's it.
There is something rock star.
Let's leave it off with one more thing. One last thing here. Clinton, back to your book, How to Make It Big in the Music Biz. How about we go through the panel one last time? If everyone can give one bullet point, one word, one piece of advice that you guys can give out to up and coming producers, entrepreneurs in the game. And Clinton too, any like major bullet points from the book, please share.
Well, I mean, I'll start this off because I'm sure everyone has great advice. The one piece of advice I would give to, say, producers, since it's geared to that, is stop waiting for some magical moment that doesn't exist. So a lot of people, like, they'll make a beat and they have in their mind, it's for this person, I got to get it to this person. And then I can't tell you how many producers we all know that are sitting on a catalog of beats that never seen the light of day.
Life-changing.
Right? That they're like, oh man, if only this person got on it. Or if only this happened. Or even worse, another beat comes out 2 years later that sounds similar. Like, damn man, my shit is better than that one. And it's like, instead of sitting around waiting to get it to the right artist, go fucking find an artist and break an artist with that song. If your shit is that hot, then your beat can actually uplift somebody else And you can be the producer that created the little Nas X. And now, like, now, you know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people always set these high
expectations.
Yeah, for like this beat, or a lot of producers, sometimes some producers feel themselves so fucking much that they're not willing to give a beat to somebody that's a nobody or for free. And they're like, man, I ain't giving this shit out. It's like, all right, cool. And then 3 years later, that same beat sitting in your laptop. So, I mean, that's one of the things I talk about and hear about the mentality and the psychology behind just go, go, go. When I was, you know, in the top of the game and one of the biggest mixtape DJs in the world, like, I just went. I didn't even realize until like 3 years ago how much of an impact I had on culture because I didn't pay attention. I just worked. I did something, threw it out, did something, threw it out, did something, threw it out. So if you're doing that with your beats, inevitably you're going to blanket the place. And now some people may say, but if I put too much shit out, I lower my value. No, you don't, because once you start getting out there and everyone starts knowing your name, that's when you can start pulling back. But at first, especially if you ain't cracking yet, stop fucking being on your high horse, bro. Just get music to everybody. Spend the same time you're in there making a beat, patrol the internet and find rappers that you think sound dope, regardless if they're cracking. If you're like, yo, this dude's dope, I'm going to give him a dope-ass fucking beat, and I'm going to plug his shit. He might blow because of you. So that's my piece of advice.
Well, thank you, bro. That was great.
I'm going to step in on the second one because I'm going to be the total polar opposite of Clinton, and I love that. I love that. Okay, so I was talking to one of my friends, Eric Bellinger. He used to always say this to me. He's like, yo, Donut, you're the guy that shoots 10 shots and makes 9 out of 10. I'm the guy that shoots 100 shots and makes 10% of those 100 shots. So Clinton Sparks' way is one way. Another way is just not putting none of that shit out and literally just holding it and fine-tuning it until you get the right moment and the right time, giving God all the glory and putting those particular records out here. I'm the person that only has maybe 2 or 3 big records. In my catalogs, I have over 1 billion streams, you know what I'm saying? Over 2 or 3 records versus someone that put out 20 records, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm totally different. People don't have my beats. People are hitting me up for my beats. I'm like, I'm not sending you no fucking beats. It's very simple. I'm not oversaturated. And there's 2 books that I would recommend people buy and they can figure out where they land. It's called 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing and 22 Immutable Laws of Branding. Those are like gems over here because it'll tell you what publicity and advertisement does for your price point in the marketplace, how you should be going about your particular career. Because I'm gonna tell you like this, I get packs all the fucking time. And all those packs, 90% sound exactly identical to each other. So it doesn't matter if I pull from this person, this person, this person, this person. But when I get that one record that I know is crazy, I'm sitting on it. I'm not sending that bitch out. I'm going to make that song perfect. And I'm going to wait for the time for it to be able to be delivered. So that's
the one thing I'll add to that is maybe you're in a different position than say, like, I'm thinking we're talking to a bunch of new guys that are just starting and trying to figure out how to get their name out, right? So if you make some special sounding music, the odds are the record industry is not familiar with special sounding music. So unless you got a connection or an artist and you made the greatest new sound, they ain't gonna get it. So what you have to do is find an artist that gets it and you break with that sound together. Every great artist that ever did it on their own.
Okay, but that's also your personal opinion, right? So let me ask both of you guys a question. Since both of you guys have really strong points, what's really more important? The talent and the music that you make and the quality or the quantity that you make or the business? And you knowing the business and you not maybe, but you have the business antics. How do you guys have that to explain, since we obviously have people that are looking to break and branch off, you know?
Button, hit him.
I'm not trying to throw another jab, but I didn't really hear most of what he said.
No, I heard it probably really clear. It's like business is a whole nother avenue.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. Most people out here are trying to learn everything and do everything themselves for one reason only, financial gain. So I'm in a co-publishing agreement. I love my co-publishers. My last co-publishing agreement was amazing. It's like I love co-publishing agreements because of the people that I'm signing with and signing to. There's someone that would tell you, oh, administration deals are better. But guess what? It's only a 10% variance from 25% to 15%. And that 10% has netted me this amount over here versus you doing it all on your own, trying to figure it out. So I think people just need to know the pros and cons of both. I just recently became an artist. I just put out my yeah, get his book. Get his fucking book.
Because honestly, what you're saying is like the next level up, right? You're giving advice from somebody that actually got traction, got some hits. So he's looking from a different perspective from some like broke kid in his basement that knows shit about shit, doesn't know anything about co-publishing, publishing, admin, nothing about nothing, going in buying packs, doing loops, making beats. What do I do now? Right?
100%.
And that's what this book will help you get to the point that you're talking about, because you happen to get into a good co-publishing situation, which it appears, where they're helpful. Another thing is, too, a lot of people get in publishing situations, they don't do shit for you.
100%.
You're a lucky
I'm in one of those now.
No, I mean,
Shots.
trust, the horror stories can go crazy. All
and
I want to
that's
say
probably because of your skill of networking and having building good relationships. People probably want to work with you. People want to help you because of that, what I talk about too. It's all about your networking and understanding how to build relationships that then get you into the situations you're in.
110%. The last thing I would say is just making sure that you check your ego at the door. Because when you check your ego at the door, when someone says, no one's 100% honest with you when they're first meeting you. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know where you're coming from. They don't know if you're going to like punch them in the face if you say they don't like the record or if you're going to be whatever. So I would say make sure that your ego is checked at the door so you can tell people to be 100% honest with you. Because, you know, when you're honest with yourself, then you know your strengths and you know your weaknesses. So there's people out here that really think they're the fucking – when I started music, I was not competing, but I really thought I was Timberland and Pharrell. If I was to listen to these beats that I did when I thought I was fucking Timberland and Pharrell up, it's a joke. It's so laughable that when people bring those CDs back from my past, I'm like, yo, where's that CD so I can buy it off you so I can destroy it?
The one word to just is gratitude, man. Just gratitude. I've watched producers literally ruin their own career because people will be like, yo, that beat's hot, but fuck that dude.
Yep. Happens all the time.
Yeah, every single day.
Yeah, TK, you go next, and then Heather.
I feel like Clint and Donut kind of like tapped in on what I was gonna say on both ends of the spectrum. I was gonna say, especially if you're an up and coming cat for real, or especially definitely diversifying your shit. And like that's what I was gonna tap on. Like one of my most successful songs was me doing just that, like shooting a shot, hunting for music across all different platforms, finding this really dope up and coming rapper, sending them some music. The first joint that they did to one of my joints ended up going on the project, ended up being like one of my biggest songs. It's synced over 50 fucking times. And like I collect, 4 to 5 figures off of that one song at the very, very least, like, you know what I'm saying? Like all the time. So I would say just, like getting out there and hustling, checking your ego at the door. But one thing that's really brought me a lot of success across like different playing fields is definitely just been relationships, and like learning how the business works, learning that there's not one way to make music or money in the music industry, and figuring out those other ways, figuring out the players, and then making relationships with them. For sure, honoring and respecting relationships is going to get you everywhere, I feel like, in this industry. Just having those good relationships, tapping in with people, keeping in with people, and not being an asshole.
And don't just try to chase the big fish, like this smaller artist.
Big facts. Big old facts. Old facts.
I really fuck with what you were saying earlier, where you were like, like what I used to say all the time is like, everybody wants to work with Beyonce. No one wants to find the next one, like,
and that's the best way to break in too. Like, it's finding an artist, like, especially, find, look in every nook and cranny, and there's, the next Kurt Cobain is in the basement somewhere, and find them and develop with them, and then come up together. And that's how I broke in, and it's great. And you even get extra cred for that kind of thing. If you find something and it blows up, and you were the mastermind and the architect of the whole thing, it's like it goes a long, long way.
I mean, look at Billie Eilish and Phineas right now. Like, I've never seen any artist pop as hard as Billie Eilish and give so much love to their producer.
Exactly.
Like, that's I mean, they're brother and sister, but at the same time, like, she drops his name in music videos. She talks about him during the concerts. She attributes so much of her success to him because he's writing, he's producing, he's pushing her, all of that shit. And I mean, she popped off covering one of his songs.
Yep.
So it's like, that's 100%.
Heather, what are your thoughts?
My advice to up and coming artists, producers, songwriters is just show up. You know, my whole career started because I would just show up. Like, I would just show up at record labels. I would cold call, cold email people. My whole career started off of a cold email to Lady Gaga's A&R. This was before she went over to Jimmy Iovine. And I don't know, that's just always been my thing. Like, and that's hard for an introvert. I'm an introvert. But, you know, we kind of have to force ourselves to get out there and meet people and show our faces, because that's what really brings in the work, I think.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And then, all right, guys. Yeah, I think, Phonix, do you have anything to add? Or
I just want to say I would.
You said everything.
I mean, can you guys?
Brian.
Can you guys actually hear me?
Barely.
It's very good stuff.
Why does she look like Big Daddy Kane?
I would like to take this whole crew and put them in a writing camp and have some fun, because I think this mix of people would come up with some really cool shit.
Oh yeah, let's
So
go.
many talented
Can I
people.
ask a question? Can I ask everybody a question real quick?
Okay.
Can I ask everybody, like, what's their biggest record that they produce? Because there might be people watching that don't know anybody's catalog or know why we're even listening to these guys. Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely.
like Willie, what's the biggest record you've done?
I mean, Jeremiah is probably my biggest, probably, if I did. So I did.
Stop.
So I broke Kayembe as an artist, like, too. So Selfish and stuff. So when I look at these records, my goal is always to have the biggest record every career. So every artist, I have about like 3 or 4 artists that have their biggest record of their career. So it's like, that's my goal. My goal is always just like that one. So I'm not going to send you 50 beats. I'm going to send you 2 beats. I don't care if you fuck with it, you do. And I understand that. So I think that's my biggest ones. But I have like some big records coming right now that I obviously can't talk about NDAs on, but it's like,
all right, subtle bars. He's giving out subtle bars now.
No, it's interesting because those are 2-year apart things. I think that's the problem with it. It's like, people get in this game and they think that, oh, it's gonna keep coming like this, like this. It could, but realistically, people have like 2-year in between spurts. Like, you get a big ass record and 2 to 5.
I mean, little Wayne used to tell me, hey, stop sending me beats. I don't want any more of your beats, bro. Stop.
Yeah, you know, I'm never bragging. If anyone knows me, like, I'm extremely grateful for this position. Like, you know, it is what it is. I just don't want people to fall down the rabbit hole of lying to themselves and thinking they're actually dope. Because when they end up at your doorstep, it's like, if you want to battle me, you might have a problem. Right. If you want to battle Phonix, you might have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but see, look, no disrespect to anybody. I kind of look at it like this. We all, no matter where we started, we're all dope as fuck in our own minds. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? So, and then we met that motherfucker that was clearly shitting on it, on all of us. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, you know, it's really, to me, about surrounding yourself around people not necessarily better than you, but people you can learn from that at least give you what you need to be the best form of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure we all still make that one beat that's like, man, this is fucking trash, bro. And to us it's trash, but to the next A&R, they're like, yo, I could have gave that to Nicki Minaj, and I could have gave that to that, and you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's just how I kind of look at music. You know what I mean? You know, not to.
What's your biggest record, Phonix? What's your biggest record?
My biggest record would obviously be J. Cole, No Role Models. You know what I'm saying? Right. But, I mean, when you're asking what's my biggest record, are you saying the record sales popularity or quality of record? You know what I'm saying? Like,
the record you're most proud to announce that you did.
Oh, well, then, you're funny as hell, $1 million, because I can name one of my favorite records that you did, but I'm gonna leave that alone. But it would be J. Cole, No Role Models.
All right, Heather, how about you?
Right now.
In the pop world, it would be Justin Bieber, Somebody to Love. In the dance world, it would be Language.
Wow.
Peter Robinson.
I
That's
love
fire.
I didn't know you did that. I love that record.
Oh, thank you.
Great.
Heather crushed
Somebody
it.
just love. That's crazy.
Brian, what about you?
Probably one I'm most proud of is I did a Taylor Swift Boys Like Girls song called Two Is Better Than One about 8 years ago. That was a big record for me. It was really great working with her. She was awesome. But my biggest record is when I took a really bad rock band, kind of played everything, told them what to wear, did everything, and I instead of going like super post grunge with it, I went super 80s with it. And a band called Hinder with Lips of an Angel went #1 at Pop for 3 weeks with a 16-bar guitar solo in it.
Ooh, shit.
It's hilarious.
That's fire. TK, how about you, bro?
I don't know. I've worked with a lot of really great people. I've been a part of some really great records, but honestly, one of my biggest records and something I'm the most proud and excited about is this, like that one of these joints I did called Working Girls with Angel Hayes, who's a really fire female rapper. I mean, that shit, that was the joint I was talking about that syncs multiple times every single year. She was like,
I know you were working with Lizzo early on.
Oh,
yeah, I worked with Lizzo a lot. Cassie, Lil Jon, 2 Chainz. I've worked with a lot of different people. I've been a part of some dope records and everything. But yeah, I think just Angel, same shit with Lizzo. I mean, we just became really close and worked on some really great shit and had a bond that was reflected through the music. So especially with Angel, I think that's one of the things I'm the most proud about, because we got in around the same time and she didn't have anything going. And my single was one of the singles, if not the single, that broke her career. She signed, a 7-figure deal with Universal. And, I went on to produce her next EP, and we traveled the world. We did a sold out 35 shows overseas in 20 different countries, all sold out. Just got to do amazing things off that. So that's something I'm the most proud of, probably just because of what it's done and what it's afforded me to be able to do with my career.
All right, Clinton, what's your biggest record?
The record I'm most proud of that I wrote and produced is Blame It On Me. That's the record I made. Blame It On Me.
The cutout. What's the record?
You didn't hear it. We couldn't hear you.
What's the record?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we can.
Yeah, that's better.
All right. I think Phonix needs to mute so you can hear me.
Oh, you want to do that? Okay. I honestly thought you was G-Eazy at first, but I mean, I'm a chill.
Yeah, Phonix is the king of snap.
Who doesn't want to be compared to success and wins? I appreciate
Yeah.
Well, from what I'm mistaken, I think everybody in here has won. So I mean, but I mean, I guess team matters, right?
This is our first
Oil
round
in the
that's been
skillet.
cracking jokes. This is
Oil in the skillet. This is hot.
but yeah, so
I can give him a hug in real life.
it was
The record I'm most proud of, that is the one I said I made in 10 minutes, Willie, is I made it in 10 minutes and wrote it in 20 minutes, is Akon, Sorry, Blame It On Me. And then Lady Gaga, obviously I got a Grammy nomination for producing the album. And then the biggest artist I've discovered and broke is DJ Snake, obviously. I found him.
You found DJ Snake, dog?
Yeah,
I remember people who
playing me
just
since 07. So I found him in 07.
That's crazy.
He couldn't even speak English when I found him. I
not
introduced him to Little John.
So let me guess, you the one that taught him English?
No.
Yeah, bro said, come pull up on me.
Hey, if you listened to him talk recently, you'd say I was a horrible teacher.
Yeah. Actually, that model of DJ Snake and the model of Calvin Harris is what I'm doing now.
DJ Snake is huge, bro. Congrats on that, though. All bullshit aside.
But back to the point about just outputting a bunch of shit. Prior to our Turn Down for What success, we were banging out we already had platinum records together. We did Shut It Down with Pitbull and Akon, Shakes and Aura for Pitbull. We did a gang of records already before we even got to Turn Down for What. In fact, before we got to Turn Down for What, he was already so stressed out. We got a Grammy nomination. This dude was still fuck this music shit. And he took a CD and he went to music conference. He was like, yo, I made this record called Bird Machine. I'm going to go down to Winter Music Conference And if this shit doesn't work, I'm done. I'm done chasing records. He hated, because bro, we would make hundreds and hundreds. It was me, him, and Chami, and DJ Mercer. So like the whole part of my French connection, like they were all signed to me. So like we would be making records all the time, and like you'd land like one record out of hundreds of beats that you would send in.
Right.
And he fucking hated that, especially back then, because the internet wasn't what it was now. So it's like they might as well have been on Mars. They have no clue what's happening. You know what I'm saying? So I'd have to hit them and be like, yo, Rick Ross wants his beat. And they'd be like, oh, dope. And then finally it came down to that. And then he met Dylan Francis. Dylan Francis ended up playing Bird Machine. Diplo heard it. Diplo was like, we should put this out. And then that's what ended up making him become. And then I connected him with Little John, and then turned out for what? Changed the game.
That's crazy. I love Little John.
Well, yo, we're definitely like 20 minutes over, but this was awesome. This is an awesome panel. We can't thank you guys enough for being on the panel. This is one of our better ones for sure. Definitely check out Clinton's new book coming out soon, and definitely
it's howtowinbiginmusic.com.
Yeah, we'll be connecting everyone. Connecting everyone on email. Connecting everyone on email. So you guys definitely need to connect. There's so much talent on this panel right now. It's literally crazy.
I'm gonna just basically send worshiping emails to Heather because I love the language beat. And I had
come on.
Yo, I was signed to Interscope at the time, and I recorded a bootleg to it and put it out.
Really?
Yo, you just
do not sleep on Heather, guys. Do not sleep on Heather. Just telling you.
You're not supposed to say things like that.
But but thanks you guys. Thanks everyone for being on board. The app Jam Compass will be in beta probably within the next month. We're really excited to launch it. Definitely want to chop it up with you guys about it. It's definitely going to be a major app and tool for the entire industry. So we're really excited about it.
I'd love to stay connected with all you guys too. So let's all connect.
We're gonna put you guys all in the email. So everyone
can put the email and put through like the Instagram. Like I just follow Clint. I just want to follow everybody on IG. Just make sure we're locked in on something. You know.
Yeah, we got you guys.
Hey, I think we should all take up a collection and get Phonix some new internet. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm with that too.
Y'all got Joe.
And also I need to add, we need 30 more minutes. If a good chat is going on, we need more than an hour.
Oh, this has been great that we went over. I mean, it's all worth it. So.
Yeah, it's only an hour. So
you can use this video to get a sponsorship deal from Boost Mobile.
Yo.
Oh my God. Hey, man, get Tony Kukoc out of here, man. Man, this guy. Man, it's all good, man. Forgive me, man. I just moved from one coast to the next. I went from Atlanta back to LA, man. So my internet ain't that good, man. Forgive me, man.
By the way, this panel is indicative of like the world that we should be living in, and the world that we fortunately live in because we're in the music business, where there's no race, there's no religion. It's just we're all just trying to do dope shit and hang out with each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what I really love about this panel.
Hell yeah, man. Everybody's a millionaire.
Everybody gotta all I know is this much. Y'all stay safe, stay quarantined, don't go fucking out in the street. Tell all your peoples not to do that. Wear your fucking mask. Drink White Claws.
Tony and Anthony, thanks so much, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Nice meeting everybody. And bye.
Good man, y'all.
Everybody look under your chair right now. You got a copy of Clinton's book under your seat right now. Everybody reach under.
Oh, it's like
Check it out.
You get a book.
You got a book.
No, I gotta send a hard copy.
Correction,
I can't send
a signed copy.
You gotta give it to Phonix. You gotta send one.
About.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right, y'all.
Thanks,
Take it easy.
everybody.
Have a good one.
Take care, y'all.
You guys.